So, welcome to Chill Chats. Okay, this is episode 3, I guess, right? And we're talking to Rise Esports CEO Austin. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but let's call him right now and find out. Start a video call. Boom. Drag him over here. No, we'll leave him here, actually. What are we doing? We're waiting. Oh, there he is. Boom! Expired Rise Esports.
We've got a flag!
Oh god, it's backwards, dude. It's mirrored.
It's not backwards.
Holy shit. Everything is scuffed now. Let's cancel it all. So yeah, here he is. Right. Expired of Rise fame. How's it going, dude?
Great. I'm living the esports life every day that I wake up. I don't actually go to sleep though, because I don't know what sleep is anymore.
Hell yeah. That's the esports life. That's what's up.
That's
the trade-off that you make, right?
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Listen, before we get into this, how do you pronounce your last name?
Guidry. You ignore
Guidry?
the U. Yep.
Oh.
You spell with the U, but you ignore the U.
What's like the nation of origin for that?
Scotland, I think.
Cool.
I've got some ancestry down in the bayou, though, so I don't know how the hell that happened.
Way.
Maybe a bit of French. I don't know, man.
Maybe you were part of the mass deportation of oh god, what was the group of them called?
Oh no, this is going downhill already.
There was like a whole bunch of people living in New Brunswick, and they were French. What's their name?
I don't know.
In Canada, right? And they got deported from Canada because like the English didn't want the French there at all. And they scattered them all down like the eastern United States coastal line. So all of the like New Orleans accent type thing, where they got like the French ancestry, that's from them. God, what are they called? I gotta Google this right now. Okay, I have to
you're
look
a
this up.
historian, not just an esports historian now.
Yeah, well, like this is something that like Canadian school kids learn in grade school. Canadian history, French deportation. What is the name of this group of people? The Acadians! The Acadians. Maybe your, ancestors were swept up in that.
I was not one of the Acadians, unfortunately, and I can explain why.
Oh, really?
As I try to log into my Twitter. So the only actual family history that I know is my dad. That's my only biological. The rest is we don't know. Because he was adopted.
Wait, is that it? Is that how you know that you weren't,
No.
Oh.
I have no idea. I was just saying that.
Oh. Okay. Well, this is a great start to our little chill chat.
It's not very chill. First you try to persecute me.
I wasn't trying to... When did I persecute you? Oh my god. So, expired. My dude. Do you prefer Austin or expired?
Up to you. I go by both.
Oh man.
My middle name is James, by the way.
What?
My middle name is James.
Well, I'm not gonna call you by your middle name. We're not gonna do that. All right. We're gonna put a limit on it somewhere. We're gonna put a full stop at middle name.
That's good. I agree.
You are one of the more interesting characters in esports in StarCraft 2, I think, because you're trying to you're trying to forge a path for yourself and for your organization, your brand, and everything like that. And I think you're going about it in a really interesting way that we're not really used to anymore. So let's talk a little bit about your roots and your past, man. Let's talk about from whence you came. How did you get into esports?
I came into esports by ignoring my homework and chores as a middle school child. I didn't like that stuff. I liked StarCraft 2. I liked playing. I liked watching. So I said, well, why do the chores and the schoolwork when I can just do the game? And so, being the child that I was, I did that. I got in trouble a lot for it. I got grounded quite a few times when I was younger. I was used to it. So I actually started competing a little bit more, and then One F Pro was a Canadian tournament organization at the time known as 1337 feet. And I played for them as like a platinum. I got up to diamond. I got up to master. I just kept rolling and rolling. And eventually, both of the owners of that team that I was heading up the pro team for as the captain, they had gotten busy. One of them works on the oil rigs in Alaska or Antarctica. No, Alaska. And the other one got busy with college. I imagine he's graduated by now, so congratulations. I don't remember your name. Congratulations, buddy. And that kind of left me to run things. So it was either step down and stop, find a new team and become a player, or take over, which was the hardest choice. But that's what I did. Still don't know why.
So, when did 1F Pro start to really come to be a real thing, more than just a kind of a clan that was a tournament organizer or whatever?
I would say sometime in late 2016 or 2017, whenever it was that we picked up Winter and yours and Mio. That's around the time that Scarecrow got involved. He was a great talent scout in the Oceanic region, and I felt that was the perfect place to start. That was probably, when I'm signing a player's check and sending the money over PayPal through an invoice, I think that was when it all became real, when I started spending money.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't stopped spending money. So it all still feels very real.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because, like, for me personally, I've been a StarCraft fan pretty hardcore since, pretty hardcore since like 2013, and I legitimately just had not heard of 1F Pro at all until 2016, I guess, and it kind of just came from nowhere, and then, oh, hey, look, they're like a real org, and now Rise is a thing, and it all seemed to just happen like really fast.
It did. It
how
happened
was
in no time.
Yeah. How was like the process of building up 1F Pro and then coming into Rise?
Building up 1F Pro was hell on earth and difficult. But it was worth it at the end of every day, because I would get to wake up at 2 a.m. to watch Winter play in a Taiwanese WCS offline event qualifier and watch him just pull off these miracles at 2 a.m. Had me screaming at my TV. Like, oh my God, he's doing it! And that was just the experience I think I was after. I'm a mega fan. So
right.
When you own the team that you're cheering for, it's like putting a magnifying glass to your emotion. It makes it so much more enjoyable.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, you're kind of like sharing in the victories and the defeats like a little bit. It seems like
a ton.
Yeah. It seems like for me, like I might have left it at one point. No, I'm still in there. I think at one point I was a part of the Rise Esports Discord, just when you guys were lifting off. And
why aren't you still in there?
No, I am still in there. Listen,
okay.
The only Discord that I check two Discords. Okay, I check mine, and then I check like a friend group when I want to play video games, kind of thing. Everything else is muted. Only mine is unmuted.
I think I've muted the Rise Discord as well, because it gets a little chatty in there sometimes.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, Rise is huge. Like, goddamn, I'm pretty sure that if all of your org were to follow me on Twitter, I'd hit 1K Twitter followers. It's ridiculous. And that's part of like merging with Rival too, right? Like you're bringing two orgs together, and it seems to have gone so seamlessly, and everybody seems to be like palling it up and good friends and stuff. It's an interesting environment and community that you've built as a team. It's so cool.
And that's what we're after. I wouldn't say it was seamless. I don't talk about this very often. I feel that at the end of the 1F Pro life cycle, there was a lot of it wasn't dead weight, right? But it was people that were way less enthusiastic, and they disagreed with the fundamentals about where we were going, that kind of thing. And so, amidst a few controversial removals and mutual people quitting, I wouldn't necessarily call it seamless. We've had our challenges, but we've kept them under control well enough to make it seem seamless. That's the goal.
Sorry, go ahead.
We've got a lot of people under the banner, and that's a great thing, but it's also a challenge in of itself to keep it moderated and within control, and keep this as a good thing and not necessarily just the negative aspects, piling on.
Yeah, definitely. Part of this format for me, I can't like actively check Discord. I just scrolled to the Rise Discord and I had 3 little things, so I just went to those channels scrolled all the way down so I didn't have those notifications. I'm fucking recording the Discord. God damn it! I have to remember not to check my Discord.
I saw that and I was giggling.
I was sitting here and I was like looking through because I check my Discord notifications like maybe I don't know once every 3 months, like all of them. You know what I mean? And I'm in some servers like there's 34 from the Battle Red server. There's 9 from Maynard. There's 4 from Vanguard. There's like, and there's a professional Overwatch one that I'm not actually supposed to show things from. That would have been rough, but we're learning. It's a new format, baby.
You're getting there. You're getting there.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah. So I think it's interesting to hear from the team owners. Like I was talking to Filthy Rake. You know, just 2 weeks there, I think it was. I can't remember, but like the NA StarCraft team owners, you guys are like a rare breed now. You know, for you as somebody who's
anymore, really.
Sorry,
not many of us show our faces anymore, really.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. I mean, we're coming historically, right? Like with Liquid and EG and Complexity. I mean, some of those people, some of those CEOs are some of the most public people in esports history, right? Like maybe not most public. Maybe that's a bit of a stretch. But do you find that it's like, is there any kind of like barriers or gateways for you coming into the esports, you know, business community as kind of like a fresh face and a StarCraft owner?
I don't know. The community's been really welcoming to me. I think a part of me, there are a few reasons that they're so welcoming, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm helping provide, among others in the scene, are to something that the scene really needs. For starters, I feel like the fans of this genre and this game really want stories. They want drama to some extent. They don't want teams ripping off their players, but they want rivalries again, right? Like One of Pro and Dust. You could say I tore Ricky apart because of some things that we disagreed on publicly, and that was
a great fucking talk show episode. That's what that was. Okay,
that was hilarious. I wish I could go back and watch it sometimes because it was a lot of fun.
I think the VOD's deleted, isn't it?
It is.
It never got uploaded. Oh, yeah.
It's gone forever unless somebody recorded it and sent it my way.
It's a shame.
But that built this storyline, even within such a small league like Dust League, where there's like not even $1,000 on the line, right? Where this team that kind of came out of nowhere, the owner shows his face on this talk show roundtable, you know, about the league, and suddenly he's trying to tear it to shreds the person that put the league together. Because, you know, it's a story. So when our players went out there, you know, they were pretty amped. We got them down to Bunny. I think Mio Mecha almost killed Bunny. And then we got either we almost reverse swept them or they reverse swept us. But it was close. And that really humbled Ricky because he thought he was going to 3-0 us. And I haven't really heard from him ever since that. So
yeah, that was like I really wish more people followed this stuff more closely, right? Like Dust was a team that was what?
Give him a reason.
I mean, I feel like that is a reason. Dust was like doing a bunch of stuff, and I feel like Ricky was being like really public and everything, because that's another person, like I'd literally never heard of him, and then in the course of like a month he was just on a bunch of talk shows and being, you know, public in the Twitter and everything like that. Like I feel like that, and then that episode happened and that wasn't the case anymore. I thought that was like really funny, and that was the first time I had heard of you too, and I went to your Twitter and I was like, who the fuck is this guy? I need to follow him. And on your Twitter, you're listed, and it was listed then too as like, hold on, let me find the exact wording of your Twitter bio description. Okay, outspoken owner, and at the time it was Scylla at 1F Pro, but outspoken owner, expired Austin Guidry. Damn, I mean, what kind of persona are you trying to put forward, or is it a purposeful thing, or is it just like, hey, I know what I'm about and this is what it's going to be? Why describe yourself like that?
It's not on, I mean, it is on purpose obviously, but there's no like persona I'm trying to chase. It's just I feel that's who I am. I'm really proud of everything that my orgs have accomplished. I'm really proud of myself for helping them get there. I'm really just overwhelmed that I'm in the position that I'm in. I literally get to wake up and live my dream every day right now. And in doing so, I have a lot of patriotism toward my own brand and toward the people in it. And so I advertise it publicly that I'm the owner because I love, a part of me loves the celebrity, quote unquote, the recognition I sometimes get. But more importantly, I love drawing attention to the brand and increasing its success and telling more people about that because we want to tell some great stories. So there's no persona that I'm necessarily trying to say or build. This is just kind of who I am, what I'm about type thing.
Do you feel like you said there you like feeling like the appreciation sometimes? I think one of the things that I took away from my discussion with Filthy Rake was that maybe there's not as much appreciation there as maybe there could be from the community. Because like he said, one of the only ways that he knows that he has like Psystorm fans in the community is when he goes on Reddit and he sees people with the flare. You know? Do you ever get that sense? Like, do you ever kind of wonder, or like, man, are there fans out there for Rise or whatever?
Absolutely not. And I think there's only one factor that really makes me say that honestly, and that's I have an endless amount of optimism toward my own team, toward my own brand, and it doesn't go away. Like some of the goals that I've set, that I've talked with you off the record on, they seem a little out there, right? You could agree.
Yeah.
But knowing what I know behind the scenes, and knowing that some of those goals don't really have a strict time limit, we can dream big, so to speak, and we know we're going to get there. But as for the fans, to bring it back to the actual point and not to get too off topic, I see it every day on the Twitter. I see it when people post pictures of the shirts that we sent them. I think the first person to post a picture of the shirts that they won in our initial launch giveaway was Matt. He's from France.
Oh, cool.
But let that sink in. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. I've never been out. I mean, not really. I've been to California, and then I've traveled a bit throughout the country. I've never been anywhere near France. I've never been anywhere near Australia. And yet we've got a lot of fans from both of those places that vocalize it. And they let us know that they're there supporting it. And that one fan, of those two fans, they keep it going. So even when you might be having a bad day, you think, oh, nobody gives a fuck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look back on those comments and they're there. We've got people that appreciate us the same way Psystorm does, the same way any other North American team does. I think it's just a matter of how you look at it.
Definitely.
We're gonna make some more fans at DreamHack Austin, by the way.
yeah. You were talking just before we hopped on, actually, about waving the flag and everything like that. I think that's another interesting part of being a part of the StarCraft community too, because there is this big, huge wealth of people waiting to be tapped into and waiting to be accessed, right?
Absolutely.
It's so freaking hard, though. Like, it seems sometimes I get super discouraged personally, because it seems sometimes like a lot of the people that are around are really only interested in following things that are remaining from like 2012, 2013 era. Like as a team that's fresh faced, do you have any particular strategies to kind of subvert that?
I wouldn't say subvert it, but more so, let me explain why I think those people hang on to things from 2012, 2013, right? Why they focus on the EG, why they focus on the Team Liquid, who's still around. It's my opinion that they focus on that because those teams gave them what they needed as a fan. Those teams built storylines, they built content, they made articles, they made videos to keep fans' attention, to win over their loyalty. They gave them the opportunity to buy merch, to sometimes meet their favorite player. But the most important part there is they built stories for these fans. And I don't feel like a North American team has done that in years. I can't think of a single example on a main WCS stage where it was somebody besides Blizzard telling the story, or somebody besides the player telling the story. And I think that that obligation should be there if you want to tap into that wealth of fans, because you've got so many tools as an org. Even if you're not financially super wealthy, you can still tell these stories. You can tell them in a really interesting way. And I feel like that's why people might focus on the older teams, because the newer teams, the fresh faces, they're not giving them what they really want.
I think that Psystorm has tried a little bit, I want to say. I can't remember particularly, but I'm really bad at remembering things, so I don't know. But yeah, I think that that's a really astute point. And man, I mean, I see you out there like trying to accomplish these goals and stuff, and try and rectify, the situation that you see with some of the content that you're uploading. Like, what's the reception been like, and what kind of strategies have you been employing? If you can talk about that.
Sure. For video content, it's all been me editing. I have less than a few months experience in Premiere Pro, but I just got on the internet and learned quick all the little tricks, optimized my workflow, took some time on it. And that's been the main strategy, is build as much content as we can, even around silly little things. Like on Valentine's Day, before we launched, I went into After Effects, is what it was. And I did a really simple GIF, like some clouds flying out of the wings. I recolored the center piece of the Rise logo into pink. So it's this, but in pink. And I just posted it on Twitter and said, Happy Valentine's Day, with our hashtag. And that's not going to win anyone over, but I think the little things like that are supplementary and kind of show where the overall direction is.
Yeah,
we really want to be focused on content. And so doing things, even little things like that, I think it's very important. I think the devil is in the details, so to speak.
Yeah, I agree wholesale, because like for me, I think that little things like that, they don't 100% win anybody over, sure, but I think that there's a big difference between an org who doesn't do anything like that and an org who does. Like for me, I think that part of what makes me miss those 2012 days a lot is that feeling of excitement, that feeling of like, oh man, this StarCraft thing is like a big deal, and it's going to go places, and it's going to be really cool, And I feel like we've lost that more than anything. And I feel like those little teeny tiny little things that maybe don't matter a whole lot in the big picture, they contribute, they contribute to build some hype, and they make it feel special. And it's like, wow, I'm part of a crew of StarCraft Rise fans. Yeah, use the hashtag.
Exactly.
And stuff. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we lost that.
Yeah,
we lost that with EG. We lost that with Guidry. We lost that with Team Liquid to some extent. They still are around. They still do content now and then. But we lost that sense of the little things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here to bring it back.
I would say the excitement more than the little things. It's just it all contributes, right?
Even the flag, right? $40, $50 for a flag, and you see it waving in the crowd.
Yeah,
that's actually a piece of attention. That's exciting.
Yeah,
something as silly as a little piece of cloth flying around above your head, enthusiastically waving or whatever.
Yeah,
that's exciting.
That's
those
like
little factors.
All of the greatest StarCraft 2 tournaments and esports tournaments in general, right? Like they're usually identified as this is the greatest because the crowd, right? Yeah. Like NASL going to Toronto and WCS going to Toronto, like those are some of the most memorable tournaments on whole because of the crowd.
Absolutely.
And that's another thing too, right? Like it's interesting to me that you going to Austin, cheering for your players with a flag and getting super excited and everything like that. That's become kind of like a rarity to a degree,
It's sad.
Yeah, I think it is sad. It's definitely sad, and I really want you to succeed because I want this to come back. Like I'll be the biggest Rise fanboy, man. I would.
Well, get ready. It's less than a week away. I mean, we've rented. Basically, what we've done is, what my camera budget was. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to be recording 4K 60 FPS, some amazing long-form, short-form content for after the event. We've gotten a lot of other outlets that will be using live while we're there. We basically rented out a small team house near the venue where we're going to shoot content and hang out. There's foosball. There's a barbecue. There's little things like that. Getting that on camera kind of brings the fans a bit more realism, right?
Yeah.
The point I'm trying to make, though, is that we're ready. This is our debut event. We've spent 3 months preparing for it. Time to go in. Time to do this.
Hell yeah.
Hopefully one of our players wins.
Do you think that's a possibility? Like, do you think that's a realistic possibility?
Well, don't ask me about realistic possibilities.
Well, I'm just asking.
Because asking Siegfried, if you know who he is, he's on the team. He's like an encyclopedia. He's very realistic. Asking Siegfried or half the other StarCraft players, you think a Rise player is going to win at WCS? No, we might get a top 16. Well, wait. Upsets do happen. I know we don't like to pretend that upsets happen. I know we like to pretend that everyone who deserves to win always wins every game, right?
Mm.
But upsets do happen. Players do make mistakes in the LAN environment, and other players can capitalize.
That's a fact. I
think every player looks at it as though everyone's playing a perfect game. That's not the case.
I mean, Massa, runner-up, WCS Challenger NA. No one would have expected that. Just kind of proof in the pudding.
And the way he beat Scarlet was hilarious.
The way he he almost beat Neeb.
I know.
It's nuts.
I didn't really respect Massa that much before that run. Even after his performance at Cheese. And I have a bit more respect for him now. Regardless of how he won.
Yeah, no, I mean, he was just really, really intelligent tactics. I mean, I don't think that it'll work in Austin.
Probably not.
Because there's like one too many times you can try and do that,
Just one.
But it's, it's nuts.
Semper and Future are both my number ones to upset the entire tournament. And I do think with a higher percentage chance that we can make round of 4, we can make round of 8, and we can definitely make stage play. Even without anyone technically qualified.
I'm a big Semper fan. I want to hear about Future, though, from your perspective as the org owner, because this is a guy who is fresh-faced in WCS, right? He's just eligible because he just turned 16. And we're living in an age right now for the WCS circuit where we have Raynor and Clem in Europe who are both, equally fresh-faced as Future, but nobody seems to be talking as much about Future. Partly, I guess, because he's NA, but tell me, from someone who knows Future, who's hyping Future, is there a hype train to get on?
Absolutely there is. Have you seen this kid play? He's ridiculous.
Good. I think he's very unpolished as of yet, though.
When he's on form, and when he doesn't make silly mistakes, his gameplay blows my mind. I'm not even a Terran player. It's insane that someone who is 4 years younger than I am can be making such an impact. I think it's amazing. I'm excited to see what he does at Austin, but I think the biggest thing about him is that he'll be playing in the finals of a tournament, right? Or the semifinals or something like that. Or even a qualifier. And he'll make a mistake in game, and then later on, when we're all talking in Discord, he'll say something like, I should have made Ghost sooner. I should have made 2 more Liberators. I should have harassed with these Liberators. And then the next time you see him play, he fixes those mistakes. And he either makes a different one to focus on that's way smaller and doesn't cost him the game, or he wins because he fixed his problems. He's been practicing a ridiculous amount lately in anticipation for Austin. And so I'm personally really excited to see what he can put on the board.
I'm really excited. I would love to see Future held to the same kind of level of respect as Raynor and Clem are getting right now. Because they're all fucking so cool. They're all amazing, I think. It's an amazing storyline waiting to happen as soon as one of them, gets another top 4 or something to that degree, right?
And imagine if any of my players so much as make the final.
Yeah,
and we've got these storytelling tools in place to capture that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, the image I keep telling the project coordinators that are helping me coordinate this project for Austin, I just used the same words 4 times. I keep telling them, imagine the moment when Semper or Future's on stage and he wins the cup 4-3. And then a bunch of Rise jersey people flood onto the stage, and it's holding him up and cheering him on. That kind of emotion is something we don't see in tournaments anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it needs to be there.
Yeah, I think, jumping back to Future real quick, I think one of the things that I really like, too, is that he just seems like a cool guy. He just seems like a good dude. I see him in Twitch chat every now and again. He just seems like a cool, friendly, regular dude. And
he is.
That's great.
Yeah.
I personally don't go in for the Idra types or the I don't know who else is BM as fuck. When Idra was at his height of heights and everything, I wasn't on board as a fan. I just wasn't, because he was just a jerk all the time. I'm not about that. I'm not into that. I don't think that's entertaining. But yeah, it seems like he's got a real good head on his shoulders and everything. as a player, not even as a young guy or anything, just as a guy.
Yeah. I would say the one characteristic, if I had to pick a single characteristic, I would say he's balanced. He's very well balanced.
It's a great
He's got
characteristic
a
to
good
have.
temperament. Yeah.
It's a fantastic one. Yeah.
As a StarCraft player, especially.
Definitely,
You
yeah,
can't take your losses personally, or it's good motivation, but discipline beats motivation. So
yeah,
he's very well disciplined.
yeah, absolutely. You talked like real quick there. You let it slip in. You yourself, you're a pretty young dude.
I'm 20.
Yeah, that's a pretty young age for a team owner.
Especially one that's been around for 5 to 6 years.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you mean I started when I was 14? That's insane.
So
I can't even believe it.
How is I don't know, because like you've grown up in this industry, I guess, which is a rare thing to say about a team owner, right? Like it's a rare thing to say. It's a rarer thing to say about a team owner. When you look at your future and when you look at the path that lays ahead of you, what do you see? What kind of future sky's the limits goals do you have set for yourself?
Rise is going to be a team that's mentioned in the same vein as the Greats are right now. I don't know how many years exactly that'll take. TSM, Cloud9, multi-game orgs that have incredible reputations and incredible players and amazing support facilities and staff. I think we are going to be, and we're well on the way to being a premier esports team like that, like Team Liquid even. Nobody's ever going to touch Team Liquid as far as StarCraft goes. I understand that. But as far as being a multi-game org that grows and grows and becomes basically a small empire, that's where I see us in the next 5 to 10 years.
I think that's like a good goal to have, but when you say that, I can't help but sit here and be like, that's a nutty goal to have too, because
it is. It's the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So right now, like I don't know if you want to talk anything about your goals or anything. I know we've talked off stream, but like what are the goals that you have that are more solidified, solid, more solid than just the big notion? Yeah, more short term. There you go.
Yay,
thank you.
Big crown. Like I said, that's just the long-term goal. That's the light at the end of the next 12 tunnels first.
Right.
Some of our smaller goals include, we've got our Rocket League team that's doing stellar. They're in great form. I personally think this next season coming up, they can make it to the world stage. And frankly, that's our first goal. Is getting a team, a squad, like a Rocket League set of players or an Overwatch team or CSGO, League of Legends, whatever, on the world stage in a premier environment like our LCS. And that just kind of helps solidify the name and the brand in the short term.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who are these guys? Where'd they come from? I want to go learn more about them.
Absolutely.
The other short-term goal is to make sure, and this is more of like a constant thing, is to make sure that we're focusing on our merchandise and our community integration. So we always want you to be able to support us. We always want you to give you avenues of buying the shirt that I'm wearing, maybe someday buying the flag that I'm wearing. We want to give people that chance because I know there are a lot of people that are going to want that, or people that do want that for their current favorite teams, and they have nowhere to buy it easily. So
really,
I mean, for some teams, I feel that it's a neglected market to some extent. I think in some ways, at least for up and coming NA teams that they really like. Okay.
Sure,
I've heard the complaint, I don't really know how to support this team.
Gotcha.
And when our website's up, well, you'll know how to support it. You go to the website, you buy a shirt.
How far off is the website? Oh, you're getting an app. What?
It's within days. No apps.
Oh, I thought you just said that you were getting an app. I'm so sorry.
Sorry, no. Maybe someday.
The Rise Esports app.
Yeah,
hey, man.
It's a good idea.
When you get to like that C9 level, you're gonna need it, right?
Yeah, Cloud9 doesn't have an app. Let's get an app.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, do C9 or Splice or do any of them have an app? I don't think that they do.
I don't think they do. Fuck, let's get on the bandwagon then.
I feel like that's a real neglected market in just esports in general, like the app phone market, you know? Like I used to have the Score esports app on my phone because it would ding and go off whenever there's a big news story in the categories that I ticked, like for like StarCraft or Overwatch or general esports. But then they kind of stole one of my articles and I deleted the app, and now there's no replacement. Like, there's no secondary thing for that. And then beyond that, the only thing I can think of is like the Overwatch League app, which is cool. But teams should do that.
It's just Overwatch.
Yeah. Like TSM should do that so that it dings for all the people that have the app whenever TSM of any kind is playing.
2 years from now, I'm on board. I'll hire an app developer. Thanks for the idea.
Cut me in at like 1%, okay?
0.5.
Deal. I'll take it.
Also, it's a free app that we don't run ads on, so no revenue.
0.5% of anything, man.
0.5% of zero.
If somebody like donates $1 through the PayPal link that you'll have in the app, then I'll take my 5 cents of that. Okay.
Being the size of Cloud9 and then having a PayPal link in the app.
Listen,
are you insane?
Are you gonna pass up on that monetization? It's right there for the taking. Okay. I want to be able to buy a coffee on my revenue return after like 30 years. Okay.
There was a point that we wanted to make right before that. I forget what it was though. What was it? It was to do with like the website
accessibility of buying
merch,
product and merch. Yeah.
Our partnership with Archon Clothing is going to prove really helpful. But I haven't mentioned it publicly. At DreamHack Austin, we will have a partnered booth with merch, jerseys, shirts, some other stuff I can't talk about yet. And that's really exciting. Being able to, like, say somebody in the crowd sees the flag and then sees the player on stage, and the player on stage makes an insane upset and suddenly just won the heart of that person, right?
Mm-hmm.
That person shouldn't have to go online to an obscure esports website that might or might not be well designed and place an order to receive their shirt 2 weeks from now after the hype is kind of
Right.
It's much better to offer them, hey, go over to our booth, pick up a shirt. I mean, hell, we're going to be giving shirts away because we're at that stage where we want to do that. But I think accessibility is a super important part of the game. Attach people to the storyline.
Do you think that maybe, just in hearing you talk, it seems like you're putting a lot of import on the idea of some of your players, or one of your players, like making that on stage, area and then winning the game, What happens if that doesn't happen, right? Like, do you think that maybe in your head, you're kind of staking some chances on that, maybe a little bit?
No, because let's say, worst case scenario or even medium case scenario, we get a player on stage and they lose, or we get a player in the player area and they lose and they get knocked out. That's something we can document.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
That's a part of the story. We're building the story now, but the story isn't going to stop after DreamHack Austin, right? The story of future, the Terran player up and coming in North America, he's not just going to suddenly drop off the grid if he gets knocked out of DreamHack Austin, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we send him to Montreal, or we send him to Valencia, or we send him to wherever the next event is, and we do our documentary there, you're putting pieces of the story together. You're following someone through their low, and then later, should they win, which I think Future will, at some point, you follow along with that. So whether it's positive emotions or negative emotions, they're there. They need to be there.
Definitely.
I think that's a huge part of it, is that people, especially in StarCraft 2, I feel kind of bad sticking a camera anywhere near someone that just lost. But even for their own career, that needs to be there to some extent. That's respectable. So that you're not violating their privacy per se, but you're kind of treading the line because you want that emotion there. It's going to be a benefit in the long run.
I think it's interesting that some people are so averse to that too. I mean, like, I know players really don't want to be like interacted with at all after a loss, like at all.
Can't blame them. Yeah.
But I remember at one point there was a photo of Grubby after he had dropped from like WCS EU 2014 or something like that. And it was kind of like a backstage shot, like he was sitting down and he was just kind of like crying into his hands or something to that effect. Or he had his head in his hands, something like that. And it was like a tasteful shot. Like the photographer hadn't like approached Grubby or anything, but everybody got really mad about it because it's like, hey, you can't take a picture of that. It's like a private moment or whatever. And it's like, man, this is one of the most iconic photos in all esports right now. Like, do you really want to pass that up as a fan, right? Like, I
No.
don't really think that Grubby's mad about this, you know? Like, it
Absolutely
seems
not.
like some people have a very strong aversion to even witnessing those moments, and I think that's a
They do.
shame. I think that's a
I think
shame.
it is a shame. I think it's changing though. I think people are starting to realize that this negativity doesn't last forever.
Mm-hmm.
You need to see the downside of this career path. You need to see the downside of your favorite player.
Yeah.
That makes the upside even stronger. And I feel like in StarCraft, we like to just sweep our losses under the rug, right? I'm guilty of this with my own players. Oh, what's a good example? I guess when a pro player fell short of qualification for a WCS series. Oh well, get him next time. It's okay. Focus. And we didn't announce it. You know, we don't really announce when our players lose things because we think it's in bad taste sometimes. But at such a crucial point in their career, which could or could not be WCS Austin, I think it's important, even to their own success, to kind of leave the cameras rolling respectfully.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you should tweet after every major tournament match, like win, lose, or draw. I think throw the concept of that being disrespectful out the window. I don't think that it is. I think that you have to.
I agree.
Every time.
I agree now. I didn't agree with you a year ago.
Yeah,
because I've learned a lot since then.
I always think about like hockey players or just, I guess, generic team sports players, you know, if there's a Super Bowl happening or something like that, right? No matter what happens after that game, you know, someone's going to get interviewed from that team, probably multiple of them, and they have to deal with that, right? I feel like that we should try and incorporate some of that into esports too. It's not like it's not like the mainstream you know, sport players don't have huge emotions attached to that. They just deal with it, and I feel like that's something that we should try and cultivate more in the world of esports, I think.
It's been something that's been very neglected. In StarCraft particularly, I'm calling it out in StarCraft. And I understand why it's been neglected. It's not sunshine and flowers. It's not a happy thing.
Yeah.
But it has to be there because it makes those good moments way more powerful.
Yeah.
Especially as a content creator.
Yep, definitely. The storylines become much more compelling when you have like an actual literal story arc to them, you know, where it's not like you come in at the very end when they've won and it's like, oh, everything's happy and that's all that there's ever been. It's just this one moment, you know.
It's boring.
Yeah.
It's boring as a fan. You know, there's more to it, but we don't show it because we're afraid of disrespecting the player to some extent, which I respect. I think that if the player is saying, no, don't want this, you back off. Say, all right,
yeah, definitely, absolutely.
I'll back away. I'll go find something else to do because the player, or I'll comfort the player without a camera in my hand because the player is priority number one.
Absolutely. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have your moment or anything. Definitely not, you know, trying to say that there's no refractory period or anything like that. Oh,
yeah, of course. I'm just saying we need to bear that in mind before, you know, me personally, when I get focused on something, I can tunnel vision, and it's just something we need to say to remind us, hey, these are humans. We need to treat them very well because they're taking on a lot of responsibility in playing.
Absolutely. I'll tell you a really embarrassing story.
Oh, boy.
DreamHack Montreal last year was my first ever tournament that I attended, like my first ever esports event that I attended, right? And I went and I wanted to do as much content as possible, like all the time, so I didn't get to watch that many games. I was pretty much just like coming up from the more like downstairs area where it was like the entrance and it was a little bit more quiet. I would take someone from like the player pit or whatever, and I'd be like, hey, you want to do an interview? And they'd be like, yeah, sure, whatever. Go down there, interview them, come back up, try and find somebody else, go back down, you know, like just pretty much perpetually. So I wasn't paying attention to the games or anything. And I came back up. Yeah, I came back up.
Oh, no.
And I saw a player sitting there who I really wanted to interview. And I went over and I was like, hey, how's it going, man? Or something like that. And he just kind of, he was sitting there in his chair. And I'd seen him talking to people before, so I didn't know anything at all. Like, he was just chatting with his bros. He went away and he sat there and he just kind of looked at me and then he just looked back down. I was like, oh, what a dick. And I walked away and I went to somebody else and I was like, man, that guy's a real jerk. What was that? And he was like, oh, God, you didn't just try and talk to him. He just lost on, like, the main stage. And I was like, oh.
Cyan!
I didn't know!
You need to be aware of your surroundings.
Yeah, I felt kind of bad.
I'd feel pretty bad too. That player's
Yeah.
name was Neeb.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I don't think there's any lasting damage or anything there. I think it's cool.
Hopefully not, but
But
Jesus.
these little moments. It's a lesson, you know. You got to learn your lesson. You got to make sure you know who's playing the day. Oof.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Thank you for sharing your remorse so that I could be a little careful.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little less inconspicuous because I'm going to have a rig on my shoulder and zoom in on the player. How
Hey,
you
buddy.
feeling right now, buddy? Like, I just lost 3-2 to Neeb on main stage. What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, I felt pretty bad.
You should have, but it's okay.
What can you do? What can you do? I'm not
Pay
worried about
attention.
it. Man, who's time to pay attention when you've got all these like interviews to do, man?
Not you.
Hella not me. Cyan confirmed entitled content creator that doesn't give shit about the players. All day, Fear Dragon, all day.
For shame. Fear Dragon nailed it right there. He's calling you out.
Always with the Fear Dragon.
Oh, Robbie.
Bringing it back, reining it back in. I think it's interesting that you have these big goals of becoming like the staple esports team number 4 or whatever, right? And you're starting out with StarCraft because so many of these big teams they have no link to StarCraft in this day and age. But I think it's a shame. But tell me,
I think
for
it's
you,
an untapped market.
Sorry?
I think it's an untapped market. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no. Yeah, you go ahead. That was your lead-in. Like, why are you starting with StarCraft?
Why am I
Anyway.
starting with StarCraft? Do you want the real answer or the answer that my board members would be happy to hear?
Give me the latter, and then give me the former.
Okay, the latter is I feel that it's an untapped market. Other teams are not taking the same advantage of this in the ways that we plan to, and that we already are to some extent. And the fans of StarCraft 2 really endorse the teams that they support. So they'll put their backing into Rise if they like Rise. They'll buy a Rise shirt. They'll tweet at us. They'll favor tweets, that kind of thing. The support is there once you earn their loyalty. And that's one of the things I absolutely adore about StarCraft. The real reason is because I'm a retired semi-pro, as some of the players would put it. Player of StarCraft 2. This is where I got my start. It feels wrong to go anywhere else because I just know the StarCraft 2 scene better than I know any other scene, really, to start with. I think that the people in this scene deserve a team. Behind the scenes, that is. The players, they deserve a fair team that's going to pay them every month. The leadership deserves, that's in StarCraft, they deserve to coach these players. They deserve a spot in StarCraft 2 where they should be. That's why we started with StarCraft 2.
So what's the outlook for StarCraft 2 so far as a team owner? 100%?
Great.
Yeah.
Not going anywhere. Yep.
Killer.
I mean, not going away.
Well, yeah.
In a bad way. It's going up. It's not stagnating. But, people, whenever I talk about this, they bring up, oh, well, the viewership is so low for this tournament, that tournament, and this tournament. Like, yeah, but they're there every time. They'll wake up at 1 a.m. to watch GSL. Those are the kind of people we want behind our brand. Those are the kind of people we want to wear our shirts.
Yeah.
It's an excellent starting point, and it's not... I say this cautiously because I feel like I've been burning bundles of money. It's not that expensive. I can't really talk about that too much, but
like for how big your roster is, it's mind-blowing. Like, you have a lot of players. But because it's StarCraft, and maybe that's actually kind of unfortunate to say, but because it's StarCraft, I know that it's not hella expensive, I guess, for the number of players that you do have.
It's expensive, but in comparison to other esports, it's not expensive at all.
Yeah, definitely.
In comparison to like buying, I don't want to start with like NALCS or an Overwatch team, but maybe an Overwatch Contenders team, probably more expensive than our players.
Oh, definitely, right? Actually, I have no basis of reference for Overwatch Contenders.
I don't really either, but it was kind of just something that was like, here's a convenient example.
Man,
This fits my narrative.
that's a scene that is going to run into some serious problems if they don't kind of like do something about their secondary tier. I'm constantly a little bit miffed about that.
They're starving the grassroots scene.
Yeah.
And Blizzard's done this before, and I'm not very happy with Blizzard for a couple of reasons right now. That's one of them. I love that they're putting so much money into the upper league, that they're making it so premier and professional. They're setting a standard for that esport. I don't love when an Australian org that's been in Overwatch since the beginning can't cast contenders matches, even though Blizzard won't, because Blizzard won't give them authorization to do so after months of waiting. That pisses me off a lot, because all that takes is the esports manager for Overwatch in that region, or even from another region if they don't have one in that region, which is understandable, to say, okay, you can stream it. It's not going to lose them anything. All they're doing is blocking content.
I think that, like, for them, for contenders, they want it to be a mini OWL broadcast, right? Like, they're doing a really good job with EU and NA, where they have these very refined studio broadcasts with talent up the wazoo, right?
What about Oceania? They don't have that there. So
that's what I'm saying. I think that for them,
why are we restricting this org from casting and giving these players more of a story arc? Strictly speaking, it would be better off for Blizzard.
I think that they would rather forego that entirely at the like they'd rather have nothing if they can't have that really high production quality contender.
They want to control the quality of everything, and I think that that's going to hurt them. I
mean, like, I can understand why. I understand why they're doing that, and I don't necessarily disagree. What I would really like to see is for them to open up more for some grassroots tournaments and some grassroots style of play, or if they don't want to do that, then inject more into that tier 2 and that tier 3 too, because like right now as it stands, I see very few opportunities there will be a thriving, growing Overwatch tier 2 scene in the next 2 years, right? And I think that's a huge problem for that scene.
It's a waste.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the reasons StarCraft is so successful, in my opinion, is because of the grassroots scene.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like, Jesus, where would we be without it? Yeah, absolutely.
We can't put in millions of dollars into StarCraft. I mean, they could, but they don't want to. They won't, for whatever reason.
I mean, like, WCS exists, but even without WCS, right? Like, if you take all the grassroots stuff away and you just have WCS, like, that is almost all the content, right? Like, that's so much. That's so much stuff.
It's really bad.
yeah. Like, without Base Trade and Wardy and Fear Dragon and the weekly cups and like OSC and Proxy Tab and blah blah blah. Yeah, everybody loves Fear Dragon, right?
Does anyone not?
Me.
Is he in chat?
Yeah, no, like, without the grassroots scene for StarCraft, what do you have? And I would love to see Overwatch try and replicate that a little bit more. It's tough. It's so tough for Overwatch because you do have this very regular studio broadcast with OWL, and then you do have contenders that's coming in on the very brief town time that exists, right?
Right.
But man, I'm concerned about their tier 2 scene. I am.
I'm worried about it. I'm not so worried about that. We're not gonna halt our Overwatch team.
Good. I don't want
It's been pretty unofficial up to this point. We've just been trying to cultivate the talent. But I'll give you the exclusive. We're going to be announcing them sometime at the end of June.
Oh, that is exciting.
So they'll go from unofficial to our official final group of players that we finally sorted out after a couple months.
So do you guys want to go into contenders full force right away as soon as you can?
Maybe. I'm not in a rush, personally. I want to see the players develop. I want to see the players grow under contract. I want to see where we can go with the whole grassroots Overwatch thing, because like we just said, it's not in a healthy state. But I do think it has the fan base to maybe recoup that and kind of build its own scene a little bit. And we definitely want to be there when that happens. So we'll give it a shot. See where it goes.
I'm excited.
That's basically where my mind is right now.
I'm looking forward to what you got.
I'm excited.
I like Overwatch.
No. Me too. I haven't played it in 6 months, but I like it.
Hey man, play like today. Go play today. It's the
It's
event. The event's
solid.
on.
All right, maybe I will.
You get a free legendary crate, which has like a free legendary skin guaranteed.
All right, fine, I'll do it.
Hell yeah!
Cyan's convincing me to take away my passion. I was laddering today. I went 3-1, 4-1 on a different account, fresh account, basically.
Very nice.
And now you're gonna make me play Overwatch instead of continuing my win streak and mid diamond. Thanks, Cyan. No
what
passion.
race do you play?
Don't ask me that.
Wait, why not?
I played Protoss professionally. I got to
okay.
Grandmaster on every race before Legacy of the Void came out. And if you'd like to hear how I did that, I will break it down as shamefully as possible. Protoss on NA, I always all-in anyways. That was just my playstyle. And so I got Grandmaster with that because I was a Protoss and Heart of the Swarm that all-in.
Good for you for owning that.
I got it with Terran. I forget how I got it. I think that was when Bioplay was really strong, so I would just drop players and they wouldn't really know what to do. Just drop them everywhere, even though my macro is terrible. We'll just drop in their main, drop in their third, drop in their nat. Boom, you're dead. I don't know how. But I just did that. And then I actually got Zerg on EU by just 6-pooling everyone, or whatever the earliest pool timing was. And eventually I coin flipped enough to where I got just into GM and then I stopped immediately. So I don't really know how to play the race.
I mean, you got Wolf in the chat, played on C and got GM.
No.
How do you take
that was
these
a
shots?
joke. I played on Southeast Asia with Flood right before the region switch, and we had a lot of fun just playing each other in like high GM because there's nobody on that server at the time.
Yeah.
And it's funny, Flood, one of our Canadian upcoming players, he actually held on to his C account, and when they smooshed all the accounts together in NA, if you go look at his profile now, he has a rank 1 GM finish on North America because he had GM the season that they merged. So he has a rank 1 GM finish in his career history, and we're all just like, doesn't make any sense.
That's an unfortunate way to do that, Blizzard, but it's so far removed it doesn't matter anymore, I guess. But
it doesn't matter. It's just something we giggle at every now and then when he brings it up. He's like, but guys, I'm a rank 1 GM. Look at my career history.
Hey man, whenever he says that, you just gotta tell him like, yeah, on NA. I mean, that's like what, like
exactly
top 200 DU, you know. I think that's another interesting thing too. I mean, you talked about it earlier, how you're an American who's just kind of traveled around America and not really outside, and you've got these players from all over around the world. You do have a big focus in the Australian kind of sea region, it seems. Why not as much EU?
So EU is very unknown and weird territory. The differences between NA and Australia and then EU, sometimes I don't even know where to start. They're far more expensive in general, which makes it less appealing. But their travel works a little differently. So for any European Cups, they don't really have to. I mean, it's not that expensive to take a flight from Denmark to, I don't know Europe very well, somewhere close to Denmark, or take a train even, because their continent works differently than ours does. I'm about to go take a 3-hour flight to cross 2 states, you know?
Yeah.
EU's just, we feel content with where we are right now. We're not being lazy, but we're focusing on the talent we have.
Gotcha. Which is a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot
to cultivate too. From players that aren't on the pro team but they're on the team, that's a talent pool for us to draw from in the future as well, and they know that.
And you have your good friend Kaboosh in the chat. Why no Koreans? Which is an equally good question because there are a lot of free agent Koreans. Is there a point in time where you snipe Zest or something?
I'm gonna start with saying that Kaboosh, he's got some choice words whenever we bring up possibly buying a Korean in private.
Oh.
Yeah, not choice words, but like funny thing. Not God. How do I explain myself out of this one now?
Is he for or against? Koreans aren't rank 1 NA.
He's for it for reasons that don't make sense. So, with the salary that I would spend on a Korean player like Zest, I could buy probably, on the low range, 3 Americans. On the high range, 6 Americans. or Canadians. So that's reason number one, is that we don't like hemorrhaging money without a reason. Yes, it's esports, but we don't like burning piles of money.
Not even for Zest?
Mm,
But it's Zest.
the thing I also want to segue us into the second reason here as smoothly as I can. When we pick a player that we're interested in, we typically want to make sure that they actually integrate with the community. And that's part of making it feel like a real team. That, yes, it's a 1v1 game, but Future and Shemper should be friends. They should trust each other, right? In a lot of teams, you would have a disconnect. We've had a Korean on 1F before.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody huge. It was like a B tier trying to qualify for Codex Korean. And in the 4 months that he was on the team, he sent maybe 3 messages in the group Skype, which is understandable. There's a language barrier.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference in culture. But all those reasons. But there's also a huge distance. And we don't really enjoy that as much. Yes, it's a valid way to do things, but it's not preferable, if that makes sense.
Cool. Let me tell you why you should forgo all of that for Zest, okay? I never thought about this before. I just really want Rise Zest now, because I feel like Zest in particular can accomplish everything that you're trying to set out to do, because Zest is a walking meme machine. Did you know that Zest is like a certified model? He has like actual photo shoots where he's like just shirtless, wearing pants as a model. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, and suddenly I want to buy him. It'd be perfect. We've cornered the female Korean market.
Have you seen Zest trying to kiss the GSL trophy upon winning it?
I have. I have, actually.
You're trying to pump out this content. You're trying to develop this attachment to your brand from the community. I tell you, man, you slap a Zest pair of hot pants on him for these photo shoots. You get him wearing a Zest Rise jersey, you know, when he's winning the GSL trophy. I think that'll develop some attachment.
One size too small. Have you seen yours?
What?
Have you seen Cameron? Or
I thought you meant like me. I was like, no, thank you.
No. I don't care about that. Have you seen yours?
Yeah. I've seen him.
The dude's arm is as big as my head.
Yeah, but he's not Zest though, is he?
No, but what I am suggesting is just buy them a jersey too small, and then they pop out of it. We've cornered the female market. We've got females in StarCraft 2. No, but what we tend to say is we should pick up Korean. Reddit loves Koreans.
I mean, yeah. Hell yeah.
It's true.
Get Zest. If you get Zest, I'll cheer for you in every game for the next year.
Here's the thing, right? On the low end, I'm spending $400 on him without travel included. Every month. We're not rich yet.
What if I promise to buy a t-shirt?
If you try buying, geez, how many would you have to buy? You'd have to buy 20 a month. No, a little more because of overhead. You'd have to buy about 23 months to make up for the overhead and then pay for shipping on all of those shirts. And then we can take Zest. If he settles for a low-end deal.
I'll think about it, alright? I'll consider it. I don't know why at that point I just wouldn't, personally sponsor Zest. I don't know why that wouldn't happen, but I'll think about it, okay?
Apparently you just want wings on him. I'm down with it.
Honestly, I am a big fan of Zest. I think he's hilarious. I think it's hilarious how there are so many, fangirls that go on Twitter and stuff and, tweet about him and how hot he is. And Tumblr, too. There's a big Tumblr community for that, too. I think it's hilarious. And I think that it would accomplish a lot of these things that you're trying to lay out for Rise. I think that would be some funny stuff. I
agree. If I had all the money in the world, I would do it.
Kaboosh in the chat, at Cyan, you don't need all your organs. We can work something out to acquire Zest.
Yeah, sell us your kidney and your liver.
Yeah.
And maybe some bone marrow. We'll be good to go. For a year.
Yeah, for 6 months. Oh, man.
But, yeah, I mean, that's just where we stand right now in Koreans. It's we could buy Korean, or we could just foster the talent we have more and then invest more into our Rocket League team, right? I think that's a better way to go about it right now. I'm going to be burning money this second, which I burned. I was jokingly talking to Zyril the other day, and basically said, with how much money that I've spent on DreamHack Austin, I feel like at this point, I should have had a bonfire with it instead, because that would have shut the block down.
Oh God.
And we're not burning money. It's not like that, but that's what it feels like until we get there, and I see the camera is real, and I see that the players are real, and I see that the flag is real. I'm wearing it, but you get my picture here.
$40 of that money has been confirmed.
Actually, I think it was only 35.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
No, I got a good. It's good.
It's like big too. That was the big thing for me. It's like a big.
It's as tall as I am.
Big boy flag. Yeah, large.
Flag. We need. I actually forgot to buy a flagpole, so I'm also worried about getting it through on a plane. Could be viewed as a weapon,
Flagpole? There's no way that you'd be able to do that unless it was like foldable or collapsible.
No, foldable, collapsible. Collapsible is what I have in mind. But what I'm gonna do is actually just buy it when we're in Austin. Don't know where yet. Don't know how. Maybe Amazon.
I'm sure that there will be, a local flagpole shop, right? They have those in.
Walmart has flagpoles. Everyone has flagpoles.
I wonder, will you be allowed in the venue with a flagpole though?
I would raise a fuss if we weren't. I'm like, it's for a flag. We're shooting content. It's gonna be good for DreamHack. Come on.
Maybe.
I'll just say to the guard, do it until he lets us in. I'll make Leon proud.
So like, as a team owner, as an outspoken team owner,
I like the way this is going. Continue.
Do you have any? This is something we talked about this with Penguin on Friday. Like personally, as just somebody who tweets about esports, I get some really insane Twitter DMs and really insane emails sometimes from some really insane people. As a team owner, share some of your stories because I know they exist, man. I know that they're there.
I'm not gonna name names, but when we were on Scylla and we got a lot of attention, we were the most viewed game in the Smite World Championship. Even a little bit before that in Australia, we were huge. We had a lot of attention, a lot of fans, and a lot of wannabe teams that wanted a team to sign them. I cannot tell you how many CSGO captains were in my DMs. Even with Rise, we had a few in my DMs. Like, hey man, me and 5 of my buddies play on a CSGO team. I was just wondering, are you looking to sign anyone before this tournament starts? And I'm like, at first I replied, well, no, we're not interested, thanks. And then I just got more and more and more into the team inbox, into my inbox, into the co-owners' inbox. And I'm just like, so I just stopped answering them. Because there are not hundreds. There are more than 100, though, of those, can I sign my CSGO team? But the weirdest one was, and I know I'm not judging, the weirdest one is when somebody asked us to sign a Splatoon team.
Okay, I think that's kind of cool, though.
It was neat, and then, I don't know, the conversation went really far downhill. As you could expect, but I feel like there were some mental stability issues there. I feel like I shouldn't be talking to them. A therapist should.
Oof.
And so we let it go.
Wait, what makes you say that?
There were some anger issues.
Oh,
at
no.
the very least, that point to instability. That could point to instability. I'm not a doctor.
You can't speak in like anything more than this. This seems like a good story. Is all.
Out of the respect of privacy for this individual, who I hope has seen mental help, no, I'm not going to elaborate anymore.
Jesus.
But I recall one of the pieces they were angry at me about was, we're not going to salary Splatoon team, right? Maybe we'll pay for travel somewhere to an event we're already going to. Even that I was skeptical about, but one of my co-owners was pressing for it. I was like, okay. So we got talking a little, right, on behalf of the org, and eventually they asked for $500 a month salary.
And you said yes.
I said, why? What? I broke it down like this. I paused the way I just did because I couldn't fathom it. So I paused. I thought about it for a while, and I replied, what in close detail makes you what warrants us spending $500 a month in USD on your team? And they went, oh no, that's just for me a month.
Oh shit.
I was like, hold on, there are like 3 players on a Splatoon team, or 4, I don't know. You're asking for $500 for everyone? You know, yeah, that's not too unreasonable, right? I said, what warrants us spending $2,000 on you per month?
Dude, that's
The
insane.
conversation, they got very angry at me for asking that, and they never gave me a real answer, so...
There are
Untold
some
stories of the DMs.
there are some
It's
nutty
good fun.
people out there in the world of esports trying to come up. Like, man, I didn't know that Splatoon esports was even a thing. I know that Panda Global had a Splatoon squad. I don't even know they still do. It looks like they cut down a lot, man. PG used to have a team in like every niche esport, but like,
I can see
in
that
what
being a
world?
valid strategy, but what world
Yeah.
do you earn more than...
like anyone. Like, how many tournaments? Hold on, Splatoon esports.
Oh,
How many
God,
tournaments
this
have
is
even
going downhill.
happened?
I've only seen one. I didn't watch it, but I saw like a clip of it on the final stage. And I was like, well, this is interesting. Not something I would
Nintendo make
probably
Splatoon
invest in.
There's like some articles. I can't even find like a tournament or whatever. Splatoon esports. At Splatoon esports is a Twitter account. What do we have here? 216 followers. It's in Spanish.
I'm not making fun of them.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
they want to try and be an esport, let them. But I'm not going to pay you $2,000 a month to do that.
No. No.
Oh,
I
God.
think it's a cool game. Like, man, if that was on PC, I think that could be a real esport that would be like actually successful to some degree.
Maybe.
Tier 3,
Maybe.
easy.
Tier 4, easy. Tier 3, maybe.
Well, what's your cutoff for Tier 3? What the fuck?
uh,
Tier 3 is small, dude. Come on. Give him Tier 3.
Tier 2 to me is like, I guess lately Tier 1. Smash, it's a bit more niche still, but bigger audience. Tier 2 would be like, yeah, I know, right? Tier 2 would be like, Tier 3 would be like Tekken.
Yeah, I think it could be Tekken sized.
Yeah.
Like
No.
a Gears of War, you know? Hell yeah.
Not
You know,
without
what?
publisher support. I mean, the publisher could make that a thing, but I don't think the community could make that a thing.
I mean,
I've been wrong before, right? But
like maybe I'm kind of inferencing that if it's on PC, then the developers are like not shit, like those Nintendo
come on.
ones.
Riot Games exists. Fortnite exists.
Whoa! What's wrong with Epic?
I'm going down. I'm just
Epic's great.
making jokes at the expense of the publishers. I'll regret this in 2 years when they're looking at my past.
Screw Rito though.
No. Riot's fine.
I should be
like
careful
Riot. You're
too,
doing
I
good
guess.
stuff, right? No. You can say whatever you want as long as it makes
Well, I
sense.
mean, maybe
Going
I
a little bit.
work for them eventually or something. Who knows? Maybe I do some freelance work for them.
Like-
I don't know.
Boy,
Listen.
I sure wish I had an LCS team.
Cyan Esports, rival of Aether Team when? I don't even know what that is.
Rival of what?
Splatoon
Don't
has
tell my
hella
glasses.
publisher support? Are you serious? Is this a real thing? Why can't I find like anything?
I don't believe that much. I'm reading the chat now because I'm blind without my glasses on.
Yeah, no, Fear Dragon says that the Splatoon has esports support.
No.
That's what he said. Is that real? Are you memeing Fear Dragon? Are you making a meme here?
I think Fear Dragon's messing with us.
Is there like a go for Splatoon? Go for Splatoon.
Yes, Wolf, this is the flag. And no, I am not wrong a lot of the time. I'm wrong sometimes. Wolf!
Getting some shade.
It's okay. He throws shade at me because I make better videos than he does.
Ooh.
The CEO makes better productions than the head of director of media. I'm
Okay,
throwing
so-
shots back at you, buddy.
I found Go for Splatoon. It's
Aw.
Europe. Go for Splatoon Europe. I think it's just for points.
Those darned Europeans.
Monthly finals.
What are they going to make an esport next? Hearthstone? That was a joke. We've got a Hearthstone team. And they
I
will
was gonna,
hurt me.
I was gonna say. I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I don't think you can agree with that.
I cannot agree with that. I've seen firsthand what an amazing esport that can be. You can build great stories. It's easy as a fan to understand what's going on the big screen. There are big moments like when Mr. Lego took down Reynad in the last possible turn with his last possible out and then made the finals of last year's DreamHack. That was hype as fuck, by the way.
Which one's Reynad? Oh, Reynad, the
Reynad's
guy,
the pop.
the tempo guy. Yeah.
It was the round of 8, or the round. No, it's the round of 4, on stage, right? And it all comes down to like Hunter versus I don't remember what, but he needs to draw Kill Command in the last 14 cards of his deck, or he loses to Reynad. And he pulls a Kill Command out of his deck, the last one he had, and uses it, and we're all just going wild in the audience. That was amazing.
See, I really like my big problem with Hearthstone, and like I no hate on the esports scene. I appreciate that it exists and everything, right? Well, yeah, and like I'm a big card game fan, honestly. Like I played Yu-Gi-Oh pretty hardcore at a competitive level in high school.
Blue Eyes, White Dragon, Blue Eyes.
And I'm ashamed to say that, but still. And I play Magic the Gathering, and like I appreciate that there is a level of RNG 100% of the time in any given card game. Like it's very like unless you try and remove it by making decks revealed or something like that, but that doesn't exist, right?
Cyan, I'll be honest, real quick. Hearthstone isn't as much RNG in tournaments as you might think it is. Because
No, let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
The problem with Hearthstone is that there's so little deck manipulation. Like pretty much all of the cards that you draw, whatever that they are, that's just luck. They didn't purposefully get placed there by you in any way, shape, or form.
I would disagree. So
Why?
Maybe it's just because lately they've included more deck manipulation tactics.
That could be the case too. If they're doing that now, then that's dope. Like I don't know anything.
They've done new cards, I think, that have more of that mechanic incorporated into them.
Well, then that's really cool. That's great.
Yeah,
That's much closer to
an idea now.
Yeah. Like if that's actually the case, then I might start playing Hearthstone because I want that.
Do it.
I want that a lot.
Do it.
Is it in like a good place balance wise now? Because I know last year it was really iffy.
No.
Well, I don't know. You're the one talking about Hearthstone. You're the one that's like, oh yeah, I think they did this and they did that.
I represent my team, which has a Hearthstone team on it. I don't know about balance. Ask Kaboosh. He's in the chat. He's an expert. He only plays Hearthstone now. He doesn't play StarCraft anymore.
Ooh, man, this is the most shady org in existence. Damn.
It's just a joke.
We're gonna see the splintering any day now. Rival's gonna revolt, coup d'état.
And then nobody is going to be left.
It's gonna call you Fall Esports. What a great meme that is.
Actually, there is a meme similar to that, but I don't want to talk about it on stream. So.
Oh. I don't think I have any idea what you could possibly be referencing. Look, your flag is super backwards now. It's not only backwards, it's upside down. Come on, dog. You can do better than that. There we go. There. Nope. Kind of. Is your cam like mirrored? Maybe. Is that what's up?
What are you talking about?
It says rise backwards. Like turn the flag around.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Does it still say it? No. Okay. All right. Great. Good job. Nice.
See how hard this thing would be to move around without a freaking flagpole?
Yeah, you're gonna need a flagpole. Or you could have like 3 people. You know, you could do like stretch across 3 people. It'd be fine.
Absolutely. I'm with you there.
So, we've been going for quite a while now. I feel like we had a nice little chat, nice little esports talk arena.
I guess you could call it nice.
Oh.
That's pretty mean, but...
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, I found it was pleasant and enjoyable, and that's all that, really matters. The viewers don't matter, it's all as long as I have fun.
It's got nothing to do with those people in Twitch chat.
No, we love you, Twitch chat. Thanks for tuning out, guys. So as we wind down here, is there anything that you wanted to talk about, touch on real briefly, or anything?
If you're not a fan of Rise yet, watch out for what we're doing at DreamHack. We've got a lot of content coming after it. And if you're going to be at the event, if you don't stop by to say hi, I will be personally offended. Free shirts. Come on. Does it get better than that?
Hell yeah.
At Rise_ESC.
At Rise_ESC. Follow them. And you are
Most
at
active.
Expired
SC.
That's what I have on the graphic.
If you want to follow the outspoken team owner that pretends to do things behind the scenes, then hit me up.
Do you have any, like, you were talking about Overwatch there, gave me that scoop.
Sure.
Are there any, like, what else might be coming, dude? What else might be on the way? Other games.
A certain MOBA.
Ooh, a certain MOBA. Heroes of the Storm.
We'll actually be holding tryouts in the coming months for that certain MOBA when we're ready.
Do you want to
We've already got the staff in place.
Do you want to name it?
No.
What if you did, though?
I'd be giving you too many exclusives, Cyan.
Oh, damn. Well, it's it was
The exclusive on Overwatch is that we'll have content coming out for our team coming around late June.
Very
Just
excited
need to
about
get
that.
the roster finalized, get everything signed, and we'll be good to go.
Very excited about that. I'm gonna talk to you off stream about that because I'm super curious. I
won't talk to you off stream about that.
And yeah, guys, if you enjoy the content, hit me with the follow. I'd appreciate it a lot. Hit me with the follow on Twitter. I'd appreciate that a lot. Hit me with the follow on YouTube. I'd appreciate that a lot. I'd appreciate it all a lot. And check out patreon.com/CyanEsports. If you really appreciate it, throw $1 or $2 my way on a monthly. That would be so appreciated. And shoutouts to all the sponsors on patreon.com too, because without them, couldn't do it. I'm deadly serious. Thank you, Patreon supporters. And with that, we shall bid you adieu. Thanks for coming out, guys. Everybody in Twitch chat. Thanks for all the retweets too on Twitter. Rise Fam Strong. That's something that I noticed. Rise Fam Strong.
Rise Fam very strong, friend.
Strong. Yeah, and Austin, thanks so much for hanging out and having a little chat. I hope that you guys do real well at Austin.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, peace, guys. We're gonna stop the stream. I'm gonna cut.